In early 2021, I moved to Lennox Heads, but the pace was a bit too slow for me, so I started to look for a place in Brisbane. I came up to Brisbane one weekend during the extended lockdown in Sydney for an open house inspection. Because I lived in the New South Wales-Queensland border bubble, I could travel to Brisbane, and I was the only person at the inspection. That afternoon, I made an offer and got a place in South Brisbane. I felt really lucky to have secured an apartment, especially during this frenzy in the property market. Moving to the apartment during the pandemic was very dramatic. The week before I was due to move, there was a COVID outbreak in Byron Bay. I knew that the Queensland Premier and the Health Minister were starting to get nervous, and I knew they were going to shut the border. So I madly packed everything into my car and fled across the border. I felt like a criminal. The police were at the border, but luckily I arranged a permit and a PCR test. Literally within hours, the Queensland borders were closed. I shut myself away in a hotel room in Southport for 3 days in quarantine before heading to South Brisbane to pick up my new keys. The pandemic was also the beginning of a new journey. One day, the chairperson of the body corporate at my new apartment posted on social media inviting residents to create a new garden downstairs. I immediately thought, wow, that sounds really great. I miss gardening. Because I live in an apartment, I can't garden, and I love native plants and creating habitat for wildlife. I utilised the Brisbane City Council's free plant program and arranged for delivery of about 150 native plants. I've made a friendship through the garden. Nick, who lives in the same apartment complex, helped with digging and mulching. We had a pickaxe and smashed the holes in the ground. The site, which sits on top of a hill looking down to the Brisbane River, was full of builders' rubble left over from when they built the apartment. Nick and I meet down there twice a week to water. There's lovely jacaranda trees that shade the garden. It's beautiful to just stand there with the hose and watch the river and the plants growing. There are possums, magpies and brush turkeys in the garden. I felt very lucky during this highly stressful time to have access to nature and still be able to connect to nature, connect with the community and with my neighbours and make friends.